The future of progressive politics is here.
We beat a monster. We saved America. Be proud.
This is the Dean Obeidallah Show on SiriusXM Progress.
Good evening, everybody. Good afternoon on the West Coast. And I'm really excited right now. We've been talking a lot about the Senate tonight, the United States Senate. I'm really excited to be talking to someone who follows it on a day-to-day basis and has very, very strong opinions about many senators, and she's going to share them with us tonight. Welcome back to the show, Joan McCarter from Daily Kos. How are you, Joan?
I'm good. Hello, my friend.
It's great to talk to you.
It's worth going through the day we've had with the Senate to get to talk to you about it.
Yeah, it's been a day, Joan. There was a lot of attention on what was happening on the House side in the hearings. But we got some news today, and it's very frustrating news about the Senate, because yesterday the Rules Committee deadlocked on the For the People Act, S1. But Senator Schumer, Majority Leader, has vowed to bring it to the floor. This is an important piece of legislation. Reform voting system does so many important things to fix this, our electoral process that is so broken. And we know how important it is, yet there's a senator who made it quite clear today to ABC News that he's not playing. You wrote a post about this tonight. Your post is, Manchin plants himself firmly in McConnell's back pocket, rejects saving democracy. And that title really nails it. Just so that everyone knows it's not hyperbole, last night I had Ellie Zupnik on from Fix Our Senate. Their press release yesterday, Democrats will soon face a choice, the filibuster or democracy. It looks like Manchin is choosing the filibuster. Talk about that a little bit, Joan.
That's what it looks like. And the hyperbole, it's not. This really is how we save democracy. This is how we steal it back from the corporations and all of the dark money. It's how we fight voter suppression. It's how we have robust, secure election systems in every state. It's how we have paper trails. It's how we have election integrity. And it's how we make sure everybody actually gets their vote, who is entitled to have it. And without that, looking at what every Republican legislature has done since January, it's hard to imagine they're going to allow Democrats to ever have majorities in Congress or the White House again. So really, it is that critical. It is that critical right now. And Joe Manchin has said, nope, I'm not going to do that. He says, instead, I will support the John Lewis Voting Rights Act, which is critical. It's important. It would restore the parts of the Voting Rights Act that the John Roberts Court gutted back in 2013. But the thing is about saying he's going to do that is that's going to get filibustered too.
Right.
Senate Republicans are not going to let that happen.
Right.
And Manchin is handing McConnell this big gift, saying you can keep all your dark money, you can keep your voter suppression, and on top of that, he's saying, oh, by the way, yeah, you have a valid complaint in saying our elections aren't secure.
Yeah, that was
in essence validating the big lie.
Yep. Well, a couple weeks ago he said, how could I have not watched what happened on January 6th and think we need to change things, dude? It was Donald Trump's insurrectionists who did that on January 6th. The other thing that I found so particularly annoying about what he said today, he's obsessed with having bipartisan legislation in the Senate. Obsessed with it, right? He talks about it all the time. There was not one Republican in any of these states around the country that are passing voter suppression laws that worried for a second that restricting the rights of people to vote needed bipartisanship because they knew they couldn't get it. We are trying to restore the rights of people to vote, which Republicans have made clear they don't want to do. Yet somehow he thinks he's going to get Republicans to join on. I mean, dude, have you not looked at what's happening around the country? When he said today, I believe Democrats and Republicans feel very strongly about protecting the ballot boxes, allowing people to protect their right to vote, making it accessible, making it fair, making it secure. Which Republicans? The making it secure part, that's all they talk about. But what Republicans care about allowing people to protect the right to vote? There aren't any. There aren't any.
None.
This Republican Party doesn't exist anymore. It just doesn't.
And has he been so oblivious for the entire time he's been in the Senate that this was the case? Does he just not see that? Does he not care? Is he in his heart of hearts a Republican who thinks that, yeah, some of those people shouldn't be voting, so I'm okay with that? It is a Jim Crow white supremacist institution that he is upholding. That's a problem.
That is a problem. It is, I've mentioned Adam Jentelson tonight. His book, Kill Switch, lays it out so perfectly. But, Joe Manchin, and I say this all the time and I share it on Twitter, you don't have to look too far back in the history of the Senate. His direct predecessor in the Senate, Robert Byrd, filibustered the 1964 Civil Rights Act. He used that process, as most segregationists did. That was the prime tool for segregationists to block civil rights legislation. And it's not that far in the distant past of Joe Manchin to his direct predecessor used that for that reason. And, I mean, look, the poignancy, the significance of Barack Obama telling us to end the filibuster, a Jim Crow relic, at John Lewis's funeral, as Joe Manchin is talking about supporting the John Lewis Voting Rights Act, but still wants it to be bipartisan and passed with 60 votes. He's in essence saying, I'm going to let the Jim Crow relic kill the John Lewis Voting Rights Act. That's simply what he's saying.
That's exactly what he's saying. And it's horrifying. I could not use the words I wanted to use in the Post, even at Daily Kos, where we could use pretty much any words we want. I restrained myself to a-hole. I was thinking something much, much worse. The hubris, the arrogance, the ignorance, it's really hard to believe. And this is after he's up on the hill or up on Pennsylvania Avenue talking to Joe Biden, who brought him in for a 1 hour long one-on-one meeting to talk about how important his ideas for infrastructure are and how he wanted to really get him involved and get him invested in this bill. And he goes and gives the back of his hand to really all of Biden's agenda going forward.
All right.
And I don't know whether he's just too arrogant to see that and accept it, or whether he's just so stupid he doesn't get it.
Well, also, Mitch McConnell's not even subtle about what his plans are. He's not even subtle. He said it last week.
Yeah.
His goal is to block the Biden agenda, which he did to Obama. So, which he did by using the filibuster, by the way.
And he
block...
he said the same thing with Obama. My goal
right.
is to make Barack Obama a one-term president. It didn't work, but when he says he's 100% committed to fighting Joe Biden, he means it.
He means it.
And we know he means it because we saw what he did with Obama.
And he also said, I have everyone in line from Collins to Cruz, Susan Collins to Ted Cruz, right? So
Yep.
here we have Joe Manchin thinking that he's pals with Susan Collins, and, her loyalty is to McConnell, not to Manchin. It never will be. All of them are that way. Now, McConnell made it abundantly clear today. He had a meeting with Biden on infrastructure, right? Last couple days ago, McConnell said, we're not going to ever change the tax code, the 2017 tax bill. That's not going to change. We'll increase the gas tax, which of course would be a tax on working men and women who McConnell doesn't care about, even though the Republicans claim they're the party of working men and women, which is such a joke because they aren't. Today, he comes out, the two things coming out of this bipartisan meeting at the White House today among the leaders. First of all, a couple weeks ago, we had Kevin McCarthy whining. He whined to the Hill that he'd never had a meeting, never spoken to President Biden since he was elected. I talked to him when he was vice president, and he speaks of bipartisanship. I'd like to talk to him about infrastructure. Okay, Joe Biden invites Kevin McCarthy to the White House. Kevin McCarthy walks out the door, and his team sends a text. I just met with corrupt Joe Biden, and he is still planning to push his radical social agenda on the American people as a fundraiser. Like, that's what you get for meeting with Kevin McCarthy. Mitch McConnell, he just said clearly, this is walking out of the White House after meeting with Biden about, coming up with a bipartisan plan. Clearly, Republicans are not interested in revisiting the 2017 tax bill. That's a red line. So when your red lines are that clear, you're not interested in any kind of negotiation. Like I said, McConnell's not hiding it, but somehow Joe Manchin can't see it or doesn't want to.
No, he can't. And I will. I'm feeling in a blasting mood right now, so I will give a little blast to Speaker Pelosi and to Joe Biden, both who came out of that meeting saying, "Well, there's good hope here for bipartisanship. I'm optimistic." No, you saw how they reacted to that meeting. You don't need to play this game anymore. It's important for the American people to see what is actually happening here. The Republicans are again blocking this. And it's important for you to say that, to not keep playing this game, thinking that everybody cares about bipartisanship, that the public is out here pleading, dreaming of a bipartisan Senate that's going to give them finally decent roads and schools and bridges, and that will only want those things if Republicans vote for it too. I mean, it's just insane to keep playing this game and to not call Republicans out when they do this. For one thing, that makes the national media take notice. It makes the national media repeat those words. Republicans are obstructing. Republicans don't want you to have anything nice.
Joan, do you think any American didn't want the $1,400 check because it didn't pass with any Republican votes? I don't think so.
I don't think so. I really don't think so.
Americans want results. They want solutions. They're sick of the bullshit. They want they want their elected officials to get shit done. The infrastructure bill, it became a joke. During the Trump years, roads were collapsing. The infrastructure in the country is a mess in the United States of America. It's a mess. The American Society of Civil...
Look at Texas.
Thank you. Look at that.
Look at Michigan. Yeah.
Right. Broadband. Look at much of rural America.
Where they have the whole country trying to work and go to school on the internet. Right.
And it's completely broken. And it was a joke in the Trump administration. He said he was going to do a $2 trillion package, which Republicans were fine with. Now, Biden proposes $1.9 trillion, and they can't have it. They get the vapors over it in the Republican Party. But you make such an important point, and you did tweet this. You tweeted to Senator Senate Speaker Pelosi, Speaker Pelosi, you don't have to play this game. You've no doubt seen by now both McCarthy and McConnell said immediately afterward, they're not going to help. Be honest about it. The sooner the better. Absolutely. But Democrats feel, Mitch McConnell never feels like he has to do anything bipartisan. He says that he knows how to play the media.
He stands up in front of cameras and says, I am 100% committed to not letting anything happen. He says that out loud, regularly.
Right. But then he says, Joan, this is what kills me. Why isn't Joe Biden being bipartisan? That's what Kevin McCarthy says. And that's what the media focuses on. Why isn't Joe Biden being bipartisan? But when, again, the items that we're talking about, infrastructure repair, even so many of the pieces of legislation, voting reform, the DREAM Act, gun safety regulation, all of these things are supported overwhelmingly by the American people. Overwhelmingly, there's bipartisan support for the from the American people for the Biden agenda. That's why his approval rating is high right now, because people think he is getting things done. They think he's working on it.
And he did a good job of pointing that out in the run-up to the American Rescue Plan, the COVID relief bill. He did a very good job of saying we are doing this with just Democratic votes because we have to get it done fast, but that doesn't mean it's not bipartisan. Because look at the polling on it. Republicans like it as much as Democrats, so let's get this done. He did a great job on that. I am really getting disappointed to see him not continuing that drumbeat on the rest of his agenda.
Well, I am seeing a Chiron on MSNBC right now. They've got an interview where he says Biden on infrastructure plan will, quote, get it done without Republicans if need be. Okay, good, because you're going to have to get it done without Republicans. You're not going to get one. None of them are going to vote for it, even though it helps their constituents, even though it helps their states. They put their politics first. I mean, how hard is that for everyone to understand?
And this is what they're calculating, that they can continue to say, why isn't he bipartisan? Why isn't he bipartisan? So Democrats will, yes, meet with Republicans. They'll put Republican stuff into the bill, and every Republican will vote against it, even though they have their projects in the bill. They'll vote against it. Democrats will have to do it on their own. And then those Republicans will run out to their districts and say, look what I got for you.
Exactly. Oh man, it's just so maddening. I in the previous hour, I had on as a guest Representative Athena Salmon from Arizona. They had a press conference today because Arizona passed a voter suppression law, really ugly one, designed to strip up to probably 200,000 people off the voter rolls, the automatic voter rolls. And she said there's more coming. And of course, they're targeting Arizona because Democrats have made progress there. And they are putting a lot of pressure on Senator Mark Kelly, who's up in 2022, but also Senator Kyrsten Sinema, who won. Both of them won because of the work of the very activists that were having the press conference today and who have formed the Arizona coalition to stop the filibuster, to end the filibuster. But that's another member who with Manchin,
problem child.
Right. With Manchin, I almost get it. He's from West Virginia, and that's just his style. It's been, he's been kind of one of these guys for a while. Sinema, though.
Yeah, but
Lord.
Ben Nelson was from Nebraska, and Ben Nelson didn't.
Right.
He's making me miss Ben Nelson. That's how bad this is.
Jesus Christ, that's bad. But with Sinema, I mean, we used to know Sinema. We used to see her at Netroots Nation back when she was a progressive, and the one thing I laugh is every time I see someone like Mitch McConnell or other Republican senators saying, well, we've talked to Sinema. We she's given us our word. She's going to be with us. And I laugh and I think, good luck with that. Because if she thinks it's in her best interest to ditch you guys, she will. And there's a whole group of people in Arizona in the progressive community across America who've had that done by her and know what she's capable of. So I'm just hoping that her kind of cravenness, which she's a craven politician, they all are, starts to kick in when she realizes that what they're doing in Arizona is designed to help her lose her seat, because she can't win if they succeed.
Exactly. And here we go again. She's helping Mitch McConnell make sure that he can beat her next time she's up.
Exactly right. It's exactly right.
And, I keep hearing and reading about how smart she is. She's got all of these degrees. She's the smartest person in the room. How does she not see this?
Right. That's the amazing thing. I mean, the reason Joe Manchin is as powerful as he is, and the reason Kyrsten Sinema is because of the work that was done on the ground in states like Arizona and certainly in Georgia. The work in Georgia on those runoff elections in January, the work that was done has put them in a position to help their constituents, to change America, to make it better. And yet they're playing by the old rules, the rules that will enable all that work to be undone. And that is so maddening.
And what's making it even more maddening is that Manchin has had meetings with Reverend Senator Raphael Warnock and with Jim Clyburn from the House. He's had meetings to talk about this with them one-on-one.
Yep.
He's heard from them. He knows their concerns, and he's dismissing them. And that makes me almost as angry as any other part of this whole fiasco.
Right. It's so angering. And, look, if you're in West Virginia, you need to get on the phone. You need to be calling Manchin, call his office every single day. And if you're in Arizona, make the calls. If you're in Arizona, participate in the rallies next week on the 20th, next Thursday. And if you're in any other, everyone needs to be calling their senators, because we're coming to a vote on the For the People Act. We're going to see what happens. We're going to know soon. And, Joan, I know you'll be monitoring it, and we'll be keeping on top of it. And it's going to be a roller coaster ride these next few weeks, but it really will determine our democracy. So thanks for coming on and getting me all worked up and ranting with me. I always appreciate it. Everyone should follow Joan McCarter on Twitter. Read her at Daily Kos. Such important contribution to the dialogue. Thanks, Joan.
Thank you so much, Joe.
Always love talking to you. We're going to take a break here on the Dean Obeidallah Show. I will be back in just a few minutes.
Dean Obeidallah Show on Sirius XM Progress 127.